Hi, everyone. This is Matt Dixon. I'm the Chief Product and Research Officer at Tethr. I'm joined by my colleague, Ted McKenna, who is our SVP of Product. And we want to tell you a little bit about Voice IQ, which is a conversational analytics platform or solution powered by Tethr and provided to Qualtrics customers. I'm contacting you or Zooming with you today from Washington, D.C. Ted's connecting with us from Chicago. Obviously, we all wish we were in Provo this year, but I do want to thank Qualtrics for the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing with our joint Voice IQ solution. In doing so, let me start by telling you a story of a specific shared customer of ours, a Voice IQ customer, already a Qualtrics customer, and then signed up for Voice IQ with Tethr. All right, so this particular company, a Fortune 1000 hospitality company, I want to start with the use case and in what the customer actually did with Tethr and Qualtrics together. Rather than starting with the technology, I want to start with the value to the customer, and then we'll get to the technology. And then Ted's going to bring it to life by basically showing you how this all comes together in Qualtrics and how easy it is for the customer. This is a Fortune 1000 hospitality company. And what they've done is they're now starting to flow their chat interactions, their recorded phone conversations through Tethr, and then starting to visualize and ultimately act upon the insights in that data within Qualtrics. So the first thing they're doing is they flow that conversational data through Tethr, is that our machine learning platform is actually scoring those interactions for the level of effort. And we use a proprietary algorithm to do that. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But in this case, you see that that customer has gotten a pretty, that conversation has been given a pretty poor score. This is a difficult conversation. And we know from the research, a difficult conversation leads to a customer who's much more likely to churn out, much less likely to spend any more money with us or be predisposed to an upsell or cross-sell, and much more likely to spread negative word of mouth about us, our products, and our brand. And obviously, this company wants to avoid all of those things. We are scoring that call without the customer having to fill out a post-call survey to tell us they had a high-effort, terrible, awful, difficult experience. We've taught our machine to find that in the conversational data. So no requirement the customer provides us their feedback. What the company has done is set up a closed loop action within Qualtrics. So what we know, and again, I'll tell you more about this in a moment, is that any score below a 4 on our 0 to 10 Tether effort index scale, that's really the danger zone. Those are the customers that we really need to reach out to, get more feedback, and close the loop, see if we can actually remedy the situation. And so that's what the customer's done. And Ted's going to show you how easy this is in Qualtrics. But they've set up Qualtrics so that any conversation that is scored below a 4 on our index scale automatically triggers an outbound survey to that customer. The survey they get, you see an example there on the right-hand side. The survey they get says something along the lines of, hey, we missed the mark today when you called us or when you had a chat interaction with one of our agents. What can we do to get better? And more to the point, what can we do to make this fix the situation for you? Now, what's really cool about that is they get a huge response rate on those closed loop surveys. Because imagine it from the customer perspective. They feel like, I've been heard. The company gets that they didn't put their best foot forward, and I'm frustrated as a customer. I'm pretty angry right now. And they've reached out to me to get a piece of my mind, to get my feedback. They get a huge response rate on those surveys, tons of rich, actionable verbatim. A lot of their customers even offer to hop on another call with them to tell them in detail what happened and to give their advice about how the company can improve. So really, really powerful moment and a great use case for Voice IQ. Now, hopefully you're interested in how does all this stuff work? It seems, kind of a mystery, a technical mystery. So let me unpack this a little bit for you and explain to you what's going on under the hood. So what Tethr is doing is we're taking that recorded conversation from the customer. Again, it might be a phone call, it might be a chat interaction, it might be a case management or ticketing kind of exchange in a Service Cloud or a Zendesk. We're taking that conversational data, and if it's voice, right, if it's audio, we're transcribing, so we're turning it to text. Now, obviously, if it's chat, if it's case notes, if it's SMS, or a social media platform like Facebook Messenger, that's already text, right? So there's no transcription required. But one of the key steps is with recorded phone calls is we've got to take that unstructured audio and turn it into unstructured text. So that's step number 2. Now, step number 3 is we've got to actually bring structure to it, because all we've got now is a mountain of unstructured text. Tethr uses a really sophisticated machine learning platform, and we use thousands of pre-built machine learning insights, or what we call categories, that Tethr is scouring that text for and tagging those insights where they occur in the transcribed phone conversation or in a chat interaction. Here you see a couple of examples. So some easy stuff like, is the rep using a proper greeting, a greeting we like our representatives to use when a customer calls, but also things that the customer might be talking about. Here you see an example where the customer said, hey, I was just on your website. Now think about all the different ways a customer could say that they had to switch channels. I was using your app. I was trying to use the website. I was trying to make sense of the advice I was getting in your expert community or in your knowledge base. They say it in all kinds of different ways. And we've taught Tethr to identify all of those and then rolled that up as an insight called channel switching. So when Tethr sees any instance, it tags that insight inside the data set. You find reason for call. You find the specific thing that the customer was complaining about on the website. The billing page wouldn't load. And you find customer sentiments in here. The customer saying, gosh, that's so annoying that this was happening to me. By the way, we found that frustration is expressed in hundreds and hundreds of different ways in the English language alone. Most of them are not safe for work, so I won't share them here. But it's important that your machine learning platform can find those insights, right? We're not looking for keywords. We're not looking for people to, raise who are raising or lowering their voices. We're looking for what they're saying, because when we look at what they're saying, that provides the actionable insight that we can do something with as a business. And then finally, we're scoring that entire interaction using a machine learning algorithm that we built at Tethr called the Tethr Effort Index. Now, the Tethr Effort Index is an algorithm based on more than 250 of those machine learning categories, plus a number of other variables like call length, silence time, transfers, escalations, overtalk, and interruptions. There's some of those audio dynamics as well. And the machine is assigning the entirety of the call a score. And that score is on a 0 to 10 scale. If it's below a 4, that's the danger zone. Those are high effort, difficult interactions. And if it's above a 7, those are awesome, great interactions. And by the way, the use case I was telling you about, which Ted's going to show you how we set up here in a second in Qualtrics, is all about saving those customers who've had those high effort, difficult interactions. But as we know, there's as much to learn from the good interactions too, because those are customers who are primed for an upsell or cross-sell, or maybe a customer testimonial, right? Those are the people who love you, who are praising you and talking about how glad they are that they're a customer of yours. It's really also great to show other reps examples of what good sounds like, right? We get into this role-playing stuff in training, it can kind of feel sort of fake and forced to new representatives. But when we can show them a great interaction and say, hey, when we're teaching a behavior like advocacy or using positive language, here's what that sounds like when done really well. Take a listen to this. So with that, Ted, let me hand over to you. I want you to show people just literally in a couple minutes how we set this up inside of Qualtrics, because it's super, super easy. You guys have spent a lot of time making it so for Qualtrics customers.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So yeah, let me give you a sense for how a Tethr customer might take action on this type of insight, right? We've got a situation when customer is implying that there's a poor experience. We've got specific detail and information about what's driving that poor experience. We want to automate action on the back end, and this can come in a number of different forms. We'll start with a couple different situations on the customer side. So imagine a situation I've pulled up here inside of the Qualtrics platform. This is Tethr data that's being piped every single day through to the Qualtrics platform based off of call events, chat events, email events, things that it's deriving from conversations. In this case, what we're looking for are situations where a customer might churn out for specific confusion around price situations, right? So customers upset about price, they're so concerned about price and so confused about it, they're actually talking about the fact they could potentially churn out. And moreover, we can tell based on all of the events that are happening that the experience is of high effort, lots of friction, which we know in and of itself is often correlated with churn potential. And so I automate this by setting these different sort of survey settings. So I'm getting calls that are coming through with a Tethr effort index of less than 4, a churn mention on that interaction. They're mentioning they're confused along with price concern. And right away, I can automate things like distributing out a survey task. So I can send this to that customer based off of the automatically based off of that response, or I should say the phone call, and I can pre-populate it with very specific, very tailored, very targeted type language. Looks like we caused some confusion and frustration around our pricing. Can you fill out a short survey and give us some sense for how we can improve? And what our customers find is that because they're so targeted, because they're so tailored in the ask, customer feels great about it but they also tend to get much higher response rates. So imagine a situation when a customer is potentially churning out and you're proactively reaching out to them, asking them for additional feedback, making them feel better. Another example is a digital experience that's gone wrong. So they have a login issue. It's specifically with respect to the app. They're talking to the customer service agent, which isn't ideal because that's a self-service failure, and those are cheaper channels we'd prefer they stay in. But nonetheless, they've switched into that channel. They're telling the agent about it. We want to be proactive about reaching out to them, getting feedback, understanding, not just from an experiential standpoint, how can we improve, but pass that feedback and that insight back to the app team, to the web team, to give them a sense for how to sort of fix these systemic effort drivers. So a number of different ways in which you, of course, do this. We didn't get into the agent side of things. These are also tasks and other things that you could flag for the organization, and whether it's a survey or notifications or tasks or things that you could send across the organization based off of call events is another common thing for Tethr customers to use. Just a quick sense for how you can use and take action, automate action, really using Tethr data inside of Qualtrics.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. And you know, we love the closed loop actions, as we like to say. You know, look, everyone's got dashboards and reports and insights. What makes the combination of Tethr and Qualtrics super powerful is automating that action, that closed loop action on the back end, and that's really where we're seeing a lot of customer value for Voice IQ, in Voice IQ. So. Thanks again to Qualtrics. Again, wish we were there with you live. Hopefully we'll be there next year in Provo for the Partner Summit. But I hope everyone's enjoying the session, and thanks again to Qualtrics for inviting us.